William Clouston's here. William, good to see you.
Good to be here.
Very good morning. Let's just start with the NHS, if you don't mind. You know, we're consistently told by this government and gaslit that, you know, we're fixing the foundations, we've got 4 million appointments, 5 million appointments. Every time I say that, I get a huge barrage of texts and tweets from people who say, yeah, I've had 4 appointments made already, but not one of them's actually been honoured. And I've actually seen a doctor. And similarly, now we're being told, despite... I mean, they actually appointed a new personal private secretary, parliamentary private secretary, rather, to Wes Streeting, who put out a tweet yesterday saying we're bringing the waiting list down. They've gone up.
Yeah, they will. Yeah, it's a shambles. It's interesting they can't get the basic...
Though.
No, well, it's the Labour. I mean, literally, there's no stability. I mean, put it nicely, there's no stability in anything they say. Literally, from day to day, they can say anything. They don't care. I don't think they care.
Right.
But yeah, on the NHS,
that's a shocking indictment of the system, isn't it?
It's a shocking indictment of establishment politics in this country. That's for sure. I mean, some of the other parties are improving, but Labour is an absolute shambles, and they're an embarrassment. But on the NHS, yeah, why don't they just do some basics like train some nurses, train some doctors, train some clinicians, match what we need to what they train. Yeah, that's what I would suggest.
Sounds pretty straightforward.
That would help. Yeah, they've never done it.
No, they keep telling us they haven't got enough doctors because they don't train very many. Yeah, you know, deliberately, so they keep the price high.
It's crazy.
It is.
No, I would overproduce doctors, and they're going to have to because a lot of them just go overseas as soon as you've trained them. So no, there's no attempt to do the very basics of governance. I think they've just lost it. They rely on magic solutions. Everything will happen. The market will sort it out. We'll just import people.
But it's like every day there's a new announcement, but it's an announcement of nothing. You know, I mean, today Starmer's first tweet of the day, which I call his first lie of the day, is about the Google Cloud. And how we're all going to, you know, be much better off as a result of the Google Cloud, and how he's going to, you know, create loads of jobs, which he won't create.
Well, they won't. Do you know why they won't on data centres? We haven't got the power. No. For a start. Yeah. So, no, it's not going to help. I long for a government to do what government should do, which is run the country properly. Yeah. Public sector productivity, which affects the NHS, it affects every single department. Every local authority is in the same boat. A lot of staff aren't turning up to work, and when you ask them to turn up to work, they'll say they threaten striking. It's a shambles. It
really is. And today we get the breaking news that there's literally zero growth in July, which is traditionally a month when there is reasonable growth because there's sporting events going on.
It picks up.
There's tourists coming into the country, but we got nothing.
Well, you can't. Their rhetoric. I mean, again, it's the same on Smash the Gangs or anything else. They'll say things, and we're going for growth. They said this before they were elected. They said it just after they were elected. Every single thing they've done, Mike, is inhibiting growth. Yeah, taxing jobs, taxing businesses, overtaxing the private sector. No, it really. They've got no solution. It's like just saying we want growth. It's like trying to make leaves grow by pulling them. Right. It doesn't work.
No. No. And yet they don't seem to know that.
No, I'd say virtually everything. The black hole, do you know, Mike, the black hole, the fiscal black hole is bigger now than it was when they first came to power.
Yeah, of course it is. And it's going to get even bigger. It's 50 billion right now. It's probably going to be 100 billion by the time we get around to Christmas.
Basics, please, basics. You know? Get a border, get some control. Yeah,
exactly right. Speaking of basics, obviously the big story of the week, apart from Mandelson, which I'm sure we'll get onto, is Charlie Kirk. Awful story. I mean, we were all quite upset here yesterday doing the show. Because it happened sort of overnight for us on Wednesday night into Thursday. And America's always been a dangerous place. People have always had guns. People have always been, you know, not afraid to use them. Yeah. But this is a particularly awful story, it seems to me.
It's horrible, Mike, and to think that it is so sad and so senseless, but also to think that it happened to someone who took free speech and open debate onto campuses. Right. He's trying to have an open debate with people, and he's ended up getting killed on the university campus. It's shocking.
It really is.
And the reaction to it by some people has also shocked me.
That's the other thing.
It really has. And when I read about, say, the response of the president-elect of the Oxford Union, I actually double-took and did I hear that correctly? Yeah. In an institution like Oxford,
and he said something like, you know, Charlie Kirk's been killed. Let's go.
Disgusting. Yeah. Sorry, that to me that represents just moral decay at the heart of an institution. Vile, absolutely vile.
Absolutely. And even those who would be less perhaps brazen as that, there are some in our business who were saying things like, well, you know, he was a very divisive figure, and almost like justifying that somebody's killed him.
It's awful.
And you just go, what?
No, I know, I've seen that as well, and And also, I mean, you know, you don't know what's in the mind of a killer like that.
Yeah.
You know, you don't know. And I'm always very careful, actually, to in what I say after these things. You want to find out, but certainly the temperature needs to be dialed down, and what people say about other people's opinion does matter. And people, you know, people have mentioned people like David Lammy, for instance, who called Trump, who's a Democratic politician. You might not want to vote for him, you might not agree with him, but he called him a neo-Nazi. That's the sort of thing that is problematic to me. We, you know, our party, the SDP, represents about half the public. Most people, it's a very mainstream view. You might want to control immigration, you might want good public services, you might want a water industry owned by the public and so on. But we get accused of being extreme in some... No, we're not.
Right.
We're just representing what most people think, and that's the problem.
Right. Well, we saw a story this week in the Times, didn't we, that more people now than ever actually believe that the climate change crisis has been at the very least exaggerated, and has not actually really been as bad as people are making it out to be. Well, and so people are more sceptical now generally about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's good you mentioned that, because we launched our Energy Abundance Green Paper yesterday on this topic, and yeah, I mean, it's what they're doing is literally destroying the economy in front of our eyes. They are deluded. They're literally deluded. These renewables are not reliable, and because they're not reliable, because when the sun doesn't shine or when the wind isn't blowing, you haven't got it, so you import massive amounts of gas, and it's crippling. Literally, net zero and the lack of planning in the system. If you wanted to design and structure a system which beggars the country, this could hardly be improved on. It's literally, we calculate in our green paper that we've lost something like 3 trillion in productivity because of high energy prices. So it is a crisis. I mean, we need to face up to it.
I mean, we have the most expensive electricity in the entire world, which is hard to believe, isn't it?
It's unbelievable, yeah. For a formerly, well, it is an energy-rich country, Mike, but if they've throttled oil and gas deliberately, they won't give licences and they'll delay them. And it breaks your heart. I mean, good for the Norwegians, right? They're selling us gas.
They're selling us gas in the same field that we've just shut down.
Yeah, and it's insanity. We're led by people that are... It breaks your heart. The country could be so much wealthier and so much better organised. But they are ideologues. I mean, Miliband is a total ideologue, smashing the tax base. And actually, I have to say, Reeves and Starmer are the same. They all back this stuff. And if they continue, there won't be a tax base. You see, you know, basically, net zero is so inefficient. Renewables are so inefficient. Wind power. They have to subsidise it. And oil and gas is so efficient they can tax it. And so the problem is, if you smash your economy, there won't be an economy to pay for your stupid net zero projects.
But this is what's happening overall, isn't it? Because we've got a smaller and smaller... I mean, there's a story out this morning saying that there's now 3 million people on universal credit, right? Which is up from 2 million the year before. So it's 33 1/3% up, a third up,
disastrous,
right? And as the welfare state gets bigger and the private sector gets smaller, there's fewer and fewer of us paying for more and more.
The burden falls much.
So they can't keep squeezing us.
Well, but it's like the pubs, and as I talk about industry all the time, the taxed industry out of existence. The cement industry is contracting. We can't make cement. So, you know, you're literally in a situation where you can grow some.
Sorry.
You couldn't resist that. But no, you could grow some by opening cement factories and having power that's affordable. You could do it. And now we're importing about a third of the cement we use. And then you can't. What these people have got to understand is you can't tax a closed factory. If you don't have industry, you can't tax anything. You're knackered.
But this is what they found: is that every single tax initiative they brought in effectively has raised nothing.
Destroys growth.
You know, from the VAT on private schools, which has been absolutely hopeless. The saving that they made on the winter fuel allowance payment was practically zero.
Of course.
They are bringing in more money from national insurance. However, it's not enough to pay for the interest on the loans that they've borrowed. That they have to pay off every month.
No, they've got a major problem. And meanwhile, people are leaving the country as well, which is another problem. People, you know, the young people just sniff the air and think, oh, actually, I'm off. I'll go somewhere better.
My youngest son is like, I don't want to stay here. He said, I'm going to go abroad. And I said, okay. So he's currently looking at various different possibilities, which there are many of, by the way.
There are.
Whether it's Southeast Asia, whether it's Australia, whether it's America. You know, I mean, there's plenty of places he can go. Tell us a bit more about this energy paper, though, because I know it's not easy to summarise in a couple of minutes, but what would your strategy be on energy then?
Well, get the causes right first. What's caused it? What happened is, in the late 80s, the Electricity Act, they stopped You and I are old enough to remember something called the CEGB,
yeah,
which was centralised planning and centralised power. And
yeah.
if you look at the graphs, we've got graphs in the green paper, it's the glory days of energy production in this country. They overproduced. And the graph, it grew, energy production and transmission grew at about 3% a year. It just goes like that. And then they stopped planning.
Yeah.
Left it to the magic private sector, and then it just falls off a cliff. And the incentives aren't there. It's just the same as water. If you're a private water company, it's not in your interest to invest, really. What you do is sweat the assets.
So they basically take the money.
They take the money out and give it to shareholders, so that goes wrong. And then combined with net zero, it's just an absolute disaster area. So that's the problem. So you've got to go away from those things. Our solution is basically to get back to a planned system, plan and generate.
Would you nationalise it?
Yes, yes. Generate it. Like call it central energy.
Yeah.
Generate it here. It's got to be domestically generated because this import situation is beggaring us as well. So you want a new wave, basically, of gas fuel power stations first. You can do those quite quickly, and coal-fired power stations. We're recommending. It's cheaper. Well, there you go.
And coal is brilliant. I mean, I remember, I tell this story, I've told it before, moved into a house in Wiltshire and I bought a place down there and discovered an old coal scuttle, basically, and it was full of coal.
Full of coal, yeah. There you go.
And I went, this is great. Yeah. And we had a fireplace, and I went, I'm going to try some of this. You know, so it was like the boy from Back to the Future, you know, and I kind of put the coal, and I put it in, and I was like, crikey, this is great. It's so warm, and it burns for so long.
It's a fraction.
I mean, it's literally as if it's the best, most efficient form of heating that I'd ever seen.
Yeah, but this is such a crisis for the entire economy. Actually, our recommendation for coal is that it's cheaper.
Yeah.
It's about a quarter of the price of gas per therm. So it's a good idea to do it. But in the long run, you've got to build some nuclear power stations.
Yeah.
That's why there's the atom on the front of the green paper.
Yeah.
That's what we've got to do, and we could do it. And again, it's
Are you into the smaller ones or the bigger ones?
No, I think you need the ones we recommend are the Korean model or the Westinghouse. I mean, you want them built by Britain in the end, and we made this industry.
Right.
Mike. We pioneered nuclear energy. You go up to Dounreay and you see it. 1955 they built that.
Yeah.
And we had it, and we just let it go. Successive governments just thought, I'll not bother having this. And, you know, again, it doesn't matter whether
because, again, it's politically, you know, incorrect or something.
Stupid. No, it's basically... And also a lack of ambition. I mean, Blair and Brown thought that we didn't have the money to keep our own power stations, so they flogged them to the French. Yeah. And then when Cameron and Osborne got on, you know, but good at PR, but not very good at governing, they didn't...
But this is what they say, isn't it? That everything got flogged off, basically. Everything got sold.
The summary of it, Mike, is that we stopped building and planning things, and we started flogging them. Yeah. Malyn was right about this. He was flogging the family silver. That's what they did, and that's why we're beggared now by this. So the only way to turn it'll be tough. I promise you. That if you implement what we're saying, this will be tough. But it's the only solution. It's not as tough as not doing it. I tell you that. If we don't get affordable power in this country, we are absolutely knackered.
We're screwed. Yeah. Absolutely right. Let me finish up with a bit on Mandelson. We've got a new clip, apparently. This is Keir Starmer on Peter Mandelson's appointment.
There's a real buzz around Washington right now. You can sense that there's a new leader in town, that he's a true one-off, a pioneer in business and in politics. Many people love him. Others love to hate him. But to us, he's just Peter. And Peter is the right person to help us work with President Trump and to take this special relationship from strength to strength.
Yeah, how's that going? I'm not sure what the buzz is, but I can hazard a couple of guesses as to what it might be.
Not
also, he might be known to him as Peter, but he's known to the paedophile Jeffrey Epstein as Petey.
Yeah. It's disgusting, this.
Isn't
I mean,
it awful?
it's again, the country's being dragged into the gutter. Best pal of
And how
Stein.
could he not have known?
How could no? He's
Starmer. I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but so he's not being briefed. Probably that's a failure. But I think they were. The Times this morning said that there certainly were security concerns, and he was briefed about it. You don't know exactly what, but it's just terrible judgment. Yeah. And actually, Mandelson is a specialist, isn't he? He's got sacked from every single position he's been in.
I mean, somebody mentioned it earlier this week, you know, on Twitter, one of the reasonably sort of clever political pundits just said, you know, if only there'd been a clue that Peter Mandelson was a bit of an unreliable person to put into a position of power. Yeah. Well, there was actually two pretty big clues: the Hindu jars and Jeffrey Robinson.
Yes, and past form. Yeah. How many times can you be rehabilitated like that? You know, no, just terrible judgment. And yet again, Starmer. It would be the worst thing in the world for you to be commended by him, because the next day you'd be out of a job.
Exactly right.
It's like the football
but that's how useless he is. You know, he endorses you as the Prime Minister, and then he can't actually save you. He can't help you.
No, that's how powerless he is. I've never known anything like it in politics.
No.
He is a man, there's no stability in anything he says. When he won the Labour leadership, he had a series of promises, went back on every one. Yeah. Every single one. Yeah. So whether it's day to day or week to week, it doesn't matter. It's a shambles.
It's shocking.
I'm coming to believe you're right. He won't last.
He won't. No. I think everybody's starting to believe I'm right. You know, even I mean, James Cleverly's only given him till Christmas.
Yeah.
Which is pretty good.